Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'll be talking about SmackDown May 7th edition, the old school Raw. Can't really say it didn't fit, it just didn't really feel very old school. All they did was add the old school logo and they just showed some old history from SmackDown as well. So that's really all they did. So the main focus about this episode of SmackDown was Jimmy Uso, the return of Jimmy Uso. Great to see Jimmy back. It was really cool to see Jimmy back in the fold. So let's go over everything that took place on this edition of SmackDown. The show began with Roman Reigns bringing back Jimmy Uso, and then we had Teddy Long come out to the ring and make Seth Rollins versus Cesaro's match for an opportunity for the Universal Championship. If Cesaro defeated Seth Rollins, he'd earn a Universal Championship opportunity against Roman Reigns at Backlash. And Jimmy Uso would super kick Seth Rollins on the outside because Seth Rollins was, yelling. Because Jey Uso was yelling. Because Seth was yelling at Jey. And this would lead to Cesaro getting the pinfall victory. And this left Roman Reigns very cross at Jimmy Uso throughout the show. We had some women's action. We had Carmella face Ruby Riott. Shame it was only 2 minutes. I wish these. I really feel like WWE should. I feel like WWE are really going back with the women, and they're not giving them a lot of time. Ruby and Carmella are both very talented, and I feel like they could easily go 10 minutes. Carmella gets the victory with the Code of Silence. When was the last time she won with the Code of Silence? It's been so long since Carmella won with that move. I would rather Carmella win matches with the Code of Silence than just that stupid super kick that she always does. So it was nice to see. Mella and Riott on SmackDown. Bank your money on next week. Bank your money next week. Ruby, that it'll be Carmella against Liv Morgan next week. Bank on it. Bianca Belair and Bayley got into a brawl. Bayley would stand tall in the end. Bayley becoming a bit of a psychopath is actually really cool. Like, they're trying to make Bayley's heel character a bit more interesting now that she's becoming a bit more of a psycho. And I felt like this made perfect sense instead of just turning her into a ding-dong hello co-host. That since Bayley is no longer the champion, you would think turning her into this crazy psychopath would definitely have made it feel more important for her, because she's not the champion anymore, so she's going to become a bit of a psycho because she's not the champion anymore. But man, I really miss Sasha Banks. I really freaking miss her. She is desperately needed back on SmackDown. But Bayley would get the upper hand on Bianca Belair. She would drop her with the rose plant and leave. Dominic Mysterio would go one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler. This was originally supposed to be Rey Mysterio. And this was originally supposed to be Rey Mysterio and Dolph Ziggler, but Dolph Ziggler was berating Dominic, which led to Dominic taking his place instead. And Dominic would get the victory over Dolph Ziggler. Does anybody care for this Mysterio shit? I literally just do not give a shit. I'm sorry, I literally do not give a shit. I do not give a shit about this, we've never had a father duo tag team champions before. What have the Mysterios done to deserve a WWE Tag Team Championship opportunity? Tell me, what have they done to deserve it? 0. And nobody gives a shit. That's the other thing, and nobody gives a shit. I would rather see somebody, and yes, it is someone different, not the Street Profits. I get it, it's not the Street Profits anymore, like for the 100th time. But seriously, I would rather Murphy and Shane Thorne be a tag team and challenge for the tag team titles. Anything is better than the Mysterios getting a title opportunity. Seriously. And speaking of things that nobody asked for, we had Tamina. She went one-on-one with Reginald. Who in the right mind asked for this match? Who in the right mind believed that this is what SmackDown needed? Nobody gives a shit about Reginald. I do not understand why Reginald is on my TV. Reginald is trash. So is Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This match ends by disqualification because of course it does. Because apparently Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler have zero faith in Reginald that he can knock off Tamina. Reginald didn't need to be protected here. Tamina should have just destroyed this guy and call it a day. They also confirmed that next week. They also confirmed next week that Natalya and Tamina will get an opportunity at the Women's Tag Team Championships next week on SmackDown. Please, for the love of God, take those titles off of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Please, God. Please, God. Get those damn titles off them. They bring nothing to the division. I'm over it. I am over Nia and Shayna as the champions. I've been over them as champions, for ages actually. They bring no value to those titles. They make those titles look shit. And Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they suck. They are terrible wrestlers. At least Natalya. As much as people don't like Natalya, at least Natalya is actually somewhat talented. At least Natalya can actually wrestle. At least Natalya could actually bring some value to those titles because she's actually a decent wrestler. Tamina, not so much. Tamina, not so much. But seriously, I would rather Natalya and Tamina be champions. I know I've been saying lately, I would rather, somebody else other than them. But honest to God, I would rather anybody. I would rather literally anybody be the one to win the frickin' belts. I'm so over Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I'm over it. Take the damn titles off of Nia and Shayna. They suck. They bring nothing to those titles. They have killed those titles. They have killed those titles. The last time those titles ever meant anything was when Sasha and Bayley had them in their second run. Why is it so damn difficult to make these titles mean something? I am ready. I'm done with Nia and Shayna as champions. I'm over them as a tag team. It's time to break them up. Have Reginald cost Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler has gone out and said that she's not a fan of Reginald. She doesn't like him. Then have Reginald cost Shayna Baszler the titles. And then you can begin a feud between Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I am over this team and I'm over them as tag team champions. Please, just put the damn titles on Tamina and Natalya. For the love of Christ. I'm over it. Then we had a 10-man tag. We had King Corbin, Apollo Crews, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Otis against the Street Profits, Nakamura, Kevin Owens, and Big E in a 10-man tag. And the heels end up winning with Baron Corbin pinning Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura should not be losing to Baron Corbin. I'm sorry, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but Baron Corbin should not be beating Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura should be beating King Corbin. Why can't Nakamura be a part of Cesaro? Why can't Nakamura help Cesaro out? To me, it makes the perfect sense for Nakamura and Cesaro to team up against Roman Reigns and the Usos. It makes so much sense. But no, it does. But no, not to Vince McMahon. Doesn't make sense at all. Nakamura needs revenge on Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for costing him the gauntlet match. Why can't Nakamura help out Cesaro? That makes more sense than Baron Corbin pinning him. And in the main event, as I mentioned throughout the night, Roman Reigns was pissed at Jimmy Uso because he helped Cesaro win his match over Seth Rollins. We also had a bit of a tease with Seth Rollins as well. Seth Rollins getting pissed off at Roman Reigns. So they have shown signs of maybe Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns could have a match in the future. Jimmy Uso, in the middle of the show, stood up to Roman Reigns and he told him that he's not bowing down to him, unlike Jey. And Jey tried to talk to Jimmy, but Jimmy was telling Jey about how Roman Reigns has never helped you. Has never helped you throughout his entire time as Universal Champion. And this is something I feel like that needs to be brought up. Because Daniel Bryan mentioned this 2 weeks ago. He mentioned that too. That Jey always helps Roman, but Roman never helps Jey. Jimmy Uso now saying the exact same thing. Now if I were WWE, and I know Vince won't do it because he doesn't have the brain to do it. Because he doesn't have the brains to do it. What I would do is that I would move Naomi to SmackDown. I'd split her away from Lana. I'd have Lana be Nikki Cross's daily opponent on WWE Main Event. So I'd have Naomi be a part of SmackDown. I'd move Naomi to SmackDown, and I'd have her a part of this. Because to me, putting Naomi in this position makes more sense than her tagging with Lana. But, I know Vince McMahon isn't a fan of Naomi. Oh, he's made her women's champion twice. Yes, so? It took him 11 years to give it to her. But she was in the company for a long time. So Jimmy would walk away. He would refuse to acknowledge Roman Reigns. This led to Cesaro getting the upper hand on Roman Reigns. And the Usos were also left laying because Jey Uso came in to help Roman. Jimmy would come in to help Jey, not Roman. He came in to help Jey to help his brother. But Cesaro would stand tall by taking out both Usos and giving the neutralizer to Roman Reigns. So, and that's how the show ended. The show ended with Cesaro standing tall and Cesaro looking good. As much as I'd love to see Cesaro become Universal Champion, I just can't see it happening. I just can't see it happening at all, unfortunately. So that is all I got for you guys on this edition of SmackDown. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hit that thumbs up, comment your thoughts and opinions down below, and I will see you all next time.